We are rolling. What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Take a seat and get comfortable. Hope you're all having an absolutely terrific day so far. It's great to see you all. So, on today's video, we got a big one. We got a big one today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be checking out a band called Belvebuth. Hope you guys can see that. And specifically, we're going to be checking out their debut album called Essence of Evil. So, if you're new around here, Belvebuth have featured heavily on this channel for the last let me see, because I'll be able to tell you guys exactly when I first stumbled across this band. The date was March 9th, 2021. Belvebuth released a track called Prey on Prayers featuring Duncan Bentley of Vulvodynia. Very, very cool feature. Yours truly stumbled across it. He left a comment that said, "What the actual fuck? Haha, this is incredible." It really is. It's a really, really great song. And ever since then, I've been rolling pretty heavy with these guys. I think I've featured, oh god, everything they've released. I think from then I've featured on the channel. I've had many conversations back and forth. Been in a position to actually give Dakota, the bass player, some feedback on like what I thought of the mix and all that type of stuff, which was a great privilege for me to be able to be in that position, to actually be able to give worthwhile feedback to one of my favorite bands. It was, I really love being in that situation. Featured them many times on the channel. Always rocking their merch. This is the best t-shirt I've ever received from any band ever, and I obviously I appreciate everything that bands send me, but this is just so sick. I wear this way too often. So so basically the run-up to Essence of Evil they've released 3 tracks. They've released Wrath, Sloth, and Gluttony. And the theme of the album is, it's 7 tracks. I don't really know what you call... It goes on for 32 minutes. I don't know. I feel like we kind of need a new word. It's kind of like... It's kind of like a mini album? Because albums usually go on for like at least 45 minutes and they have like 10 tracks, but sometimes you get these kind of like big EP, small album type things. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to describe it out there that I just haven't stumbled across. But we're just going to call it an album for the time being. The theme of this album is the 7 deadly sins. So we've got Gluttony, Sloth, Wrath. Those are the 3 singles. If you want to go and check out my reaction to each of them, they're on my channel. And then we've got Envy, Vanity, Greed, and Lust. And let me fucking tell you, I cannot wait to actually just sit here and listen to 4 new Belvebuth tracks. I am not worthy. So I believe it was Dylan, the vocalist. He gave me some kind of insider information, told me the idea of the album, what was going to be happening with it, what the theme was, and I think I don't know if he told me before anyone else knew. I might be getting him in trouble by saying this actually, but I knew more or less that this is what they were going for, like a little bit ahead of time. So hopefully I'm not getting anyone in trouble there. But love the idea, love the concept. It'll be interesting to see what the new tracks sound like as well. Like I wonder if because Sloth is the heaviest thing they've made ever, I think, and it's very, very slow. Gluttony is really, really fast. Wrath is kind of like a combination of the two. So I don't know, like maybe like Envy is going to be a little bit more trippy and a little bit more experimental. Maybe Lust is going to be like lightning fast. Like I don't really know what I don't really know what to expect. I'm very excited. I always get this kind of 50% anxiety, 50% excitement kind of thing whenever I'm checking out a new a band that I've been following for, because I've legitimately been following these guys since 2021. It's been 2 years. Whenever I'm checking out kind of a band's album, that's the pinnacle as far as I'm aware. You can maybe put out one single that isn't the best, so on and so forth, but if you don't nail the album, because that's what it's really all about, that's what you're always working towards. You can't really get away with just going, the album wasn't that great, but some of the singles were good. It just doesn't work that way. So I always get this kind of excitement mixed with anxiety whenever I'm going to check out a band's album. I got it with The Head of the Traitor. I got that really badly with The Head of the Traitor. Actually, my hands were actually like that beforehand. I think it's time. I think it's time to check out some Belvebuth. Oh, on a personal note as well, I think it's really cool that the first 3 tracks, Gluttony, Sloth, and Wrath, we've already heard these as singles. So then we get them kind of out of the way, and then Envy, Vanity, Greed, and Lust are all new from after that. So that's really, really cool. Gonna listen to 4 new songs in a row. Cannot wait. One last thing as well. Promise I'm not going to ramble for too much longer. The weather today in Scotland has just been literally all over the place. It's now bright sunshine. 10 minutes ago, my back is actually still wet. It was hailstone and sleet and all that type of shit. And the sun's now bust out. So it might get really bright behind me. You might just only be able to see my eyeballs here. I don't know. I'll try and change the light settings and so on and so forth as we go. But there's just pay no attention. So okay. So I'm not going to have too much to say during the first 3 tracks because we've heard them and I've given my opinion on them. That's not what we're looking for. There we go. That's better. Much, much better. Right, let's bring that down a little bit. Oh my god, what an amateur. What an amateur. Let me just make sure that's actually... If it's slightly off and I record the whole video like that, that's going to piss me off no end. Okay. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. First track off Essence of Evil. Let's go. am actually going to jump in there. I love that little pause. Just a tiny little pause. It just keeps you on your toes. Sloth, let's go. Wrath.
Now
Okay. New shit. Got the pen. Got the paper. Let's go. Whew. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Vanity. Excuse me. Lost my voice. Vanity. Let's go.
Tell me what you see.
Holy fucking shit. This is really, really good, man. Greed. Let's go. Best new track, and maybe the best track on the album, including all the singles that I've heard. Once we're done, we're actually just going to go back and listen to that song in its entirety, possibly. Love that. Loved every fucking thing about that. Okay, final track coming up. Let's go. Lust. Oh. Oh, get out of here. Oh, go away. Oh. Oh. Belvebuth. Essence of Evil. Oh. Oh. Well, that fucking sucked. No, I'm just joking. Wow. Wow, dudes. Holy shit. Okay. So, the final two tracks, that's the best they've sounded through everything. Easily, that's the best that they've sounded. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We've got a lot to get through here. So what I was hoping for was, I had a feeling, and I can't quite explain why, but I had a feeling that they were gonna try and like push the boat out a little bit more. They were gonna try like different things. They were gonna throw in more like sound effects. They were gonna throw in like there was some parts that reminded me of Prey on Prayers, with some of the sound effects not quite as like creepy. It had a little bit more of a blackened vibe, but I wouldn't go as far to call this blackened deathcore, but there was definitely some parts that gave off blackened vibes. I don't even know if you can give off blackened vibes without actually being blackened deathcore, but I don't know. Work with me or correct me. They smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. So let's go. So 13. Ooh. So we've got a note here. 13 minutes, which is the beginning of Envy. That's a fucking cool intro, dude. Very otherworldly, very creepy. Sets a tone. They were really vibing on this EP. Really experimenting with a lot of stuff that they've never done before. There was one part where it was, well, we'll get to it. All the intros. I think I've got a timestamp for every intro to every one of the new songs on here. Next, we've got a groove section at about 1440. Let's just go from here. I love Dylan's fast spitting high vocals. There's something so fucking lacerating about them, man. Lacerating but groovy as well. You can kind of like, you can feel, well, I'm an old bastard, so I can kind of feel the dad dancing vibes coming out, but I also want to bang my head, and I also want to like spin kick someone in the face in the pit. And just little lovely bits of experimentation on this. Dum 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 dum. Like I don't know if that was like I don't know if that was like done like digitally. I don't know if that was like scraping the string with like the plectrum or something like that. But it's just so fucking cool. I mean, I don't think I have to. I don't think I have to comment on how heavy it was. It was fucking ridiculously heavy, like really, really heavy, but without ever slamming as well. I always felt that like there may have been a temptation to just go dun 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 dun, like like the typical like slammy shit. And I love me some slam and deathcore and slam in general, but none of it quite crossed over into slam. It was almost slam, and it was almost a groove, and I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it was, but they didn't slam, which I thought was really cool. Now we've got the outro to this track, which I want to highlight. So this is In Between Envy and Vanity. See, it's not just getting rapid fire punched in the dick, and then there's just they slow it down, and they don't just slow it down. They don't just slow it down with kind of like some broken chords or like some strumming, or they do a little bit of that, but throwing in all these like cool sound effects and stuff just kept the album fresh. If it was literally just gonna go fast spitting section, dum 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 dum, fast spitting section, that would have got pretty boring pretty quickly, but managed to keep my attention for the whole album. This sounds like a church organ to me. It's got a very, we're talking about the 7 Deadly Sins. It's got a slightly biblical vibe to it, a kind of like, church, kind of echoey, like just, I don't know, you can almost say culty vibe to it. It's the intro to Vanity, which is just coming up now. As well with what sounds like a torch burning, and then I think it's a little bit faint, but it sounds like a glass getting broken or something. It's yeah, fucking outstanding, man, outstanding. Right now. We have... Do you know what, actually? No, just never mind that. So, there was a part here which I've literally just wrote guitars at around about the 19-minute mark. That's where they sound blackened to me. That's got some very, very blackened vibes going on there. But they never went full blackened. It was just like a sprinkling. But I don't know. I don't know. It feels a little bit un-PC to say blackish deathcore or almost blackened deathcore. It's 2023. It just something doesn't feel like a good thing to say, but fuck it, I said it anyway. But like it's just a little bit sprinkled in. They're not like in your face with the black in this, which is cool. That definitely didn't sound PC. I'm gonna move on before I get cancelled. Next part, we've got broken fast section into groove around about 1950. All right. Yeah. So when I say broken, I mean that the snare stops every now and then. It gives it a kind of a very kind of chaotic, almost kind of like hardcore vibe to it to my ears. Very, very cool. It's like the snare is almost doing a kind of like an almost, it's got a kind of almost like military, like marching band style to it. It's very, very interesting, man. Very interesting. I want to hear that again. That's fucking tight, man. That's real. That's really, really cool. Yeah, I imagine it must have been actually quite tempting to just do a kind of like stable beat there, but just throwing in those little stops, it kind of just, it gives you a kind of like, like you're not quite steady on your feet, which in this line of work is a massive compliment. So this is really, really cool. I've literally just written down guitar with rain sound, which is exactly what it was. And as well, like not making that the last part of the song or the first part of the song, doing it just towards the end, and then what follows up afterwards is like another fast section, because that sounds like an outro, and it's not. It's not an outro. You see what I mean? Like they could have just went they could have just went with the cymbal and then put the rain in with the, I don't know if that was like just picking the individual strings, but doing that just a little bit before and then not having that as the intro. It's just it's little things about this album. It's little things. It's very detailed. They've really put some work into this. Like, yeah, they didn't just kind of blam any of this out just for the sake of getting the album out. They've really thought about a lot of this. This is really cool. So this might be my favorite track. Loving that rain sound. Now, this, the dun 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 dun, I realized that was really out of tune and totally flat, but that guitar work going over the top, that really works. Really fucking works for these guys. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. I dig that. I dig that in a big way. That whole song is at a high point, but there was a really cool bit around about the 25-minute mark where I've literally just wrote in vocal pylon. So it's like one vocal technique happens, and then before it's stopped, another one jumps in, and then before it's stopped, another one jumps in. I might be wrong on that, but let's see if we can find it. Yeah, I think I'm right. I think I'm right. Yeah, you've got one, and then another one, and then another one. And the third one, this might just me being just completely off my head, but it kind of seems to come up in the mix. I'm not quite sure if that's actually possible, but it's kind of like the two meet, and then boom, the third thing comes in. I'm actually just sitting here vibing. That's just another really, really cool fucking section in a really, really cool fucking EP. Right, last track. Lust. So there's a section at 28:10 that I didn't actually write down what it was, but I'm sure I'll remember. So a little bit of isolated kick drum, really, really cool. And then the whole section kind of like, it starts to, I'm 100%, okay, 99.9% sure that it's supposed to get a little bit fuzzy, a little bit hissy, a little bit like rattly. I don't think that was a mistake in the mix. I think that was actually done on purpose, but the whole thing starts to get like a little bit like blurry, and I really, really dig it. So good, so good. Okay, we got two more bits that I want to talk about here. We've got a groove at 29:40, give or take. So good. So this brings us on to our final bit, which I've literally just written as piano. So this section towards the end here, I would like to hear more of this type of thing from Belvebuth. I think that this is a kind of natural evolution of their sound. A little bit less chaotic, a little bit less heavy, a little bit more mid-paced. I'm not saying that they have to become a kind of like black metal / deathcore band, but I think it really suits them, and I think it's a kind of a nice natural evolution for those guys to go into. And I'm actually just going to play it from just play it from here. playing that again. That bit with like the distorted screams with the piano that then goes into like just. The bass and the snare working together there. Oh man. Oh, and on that section tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. There was something particularly poignant about the very raw, very overdriven, if that's the right word, vocals with the piano, with the snare and the bass, and it was just something quite moving about that section. That's a new gear for Belvebuth, and I hope they do more of that. That really, really suits them. Like whether their next whether they do they end up sounding a bit more like Worm Shepherd going forward. I don't know. Obviously, it's like I can't tell them what to do. But that's really good. That's really, really fucking good, man. Yeah, very, very poignant. Hits you right in the feels. Very, very. Yeah, you know what? It's my show. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Outstanding. So, if it wasn't clear, I'm really fucking impressed with that. Really, really fucking impressed. Just so much creativity, so many cool little things. Just the nice little vocal pylon section, the rain, where they slowed it down, the sound effects they were using, the broken rhythms, and all of that just going along with the kind of very signature, very heavy, very raw, very lacerating Belvebuth sound. That was, you nailed it, guys. You absolutely fucking nailed it. Yeah, really, really, really good stuff. Now, the mix. I might be imagining this. This might just be me going completely insane, but I was doing a couple of checks before I went live just to make sure, like, the sound levels were good and all that. And the first 3 tracks off the three tracks were ones that we'd already heard. So I thought, okay, let me just play them then, I think it was Sloth. The single version of Sloth isn't quite as high register, isn't quite as trebly. There's a bit more depth to the sound. You can hear the bass a little bit more, and the guitar isn't quite so turned up. The mix was good. But there were times where I felt that the guitar was all the way up here and it was slightly drowning out specifically the snare and the bass. So let me this Right, pay attention to what the bass and the snare sounds like in this section. Now, obviously, there's less going on. They're both just doing their things with, like, a little bit of background noise, but just play along with it. Right. One improvement that I thought that what I thought would have made the album that bit better, right? And that's not really saying much because I fucking enjoyed it. Obviously, if you've just got piano, bass, and snare going, it wasn't just a snare, but the snare, you know what I mean. Obviously, you're going to be able to hear the bass and the snare better when you haven't got Dylan just losing his shit and you haven't got the guitar kind of like, shredding away, right? Obviously, I get that, right? I get that you're not going to be able to hear everything. But there were times where the snare, it kind of sounded like back here. It was the right sound, but the guitar was really high register, high frequency. I'm not. Maybe someone can help me out in the chat, in the comments. I feel like the guitar slightly drowned out the bass and the snare. There were some times where just a nice clean snare hitting, just a nice kind of hitting every now and then would have given some of the heavier parts a bit more impact. And the bass, it wasn't what you would call a kind of like dirty, filthy bass like you would hear in like it had a very metallic-y sound to it anyway, and I think that got drowned out just a little bit too much for my liking throughout the album. And I believe that the album version of, I think it's Sloth, is different than the single version. I liked how much you could hear the bass and the snare in Sloth. It gave it a kind of more chunkier, meaty feel, and I felt that the at times, not throughout the whole thing, not enough to actually ruin the album in any way at all. I want to make that 100% clear, but I felt at times that the mix was a little bit thin. Basically, I think is what I'm trying to say, where you had the super high register guitars and you had the bass and the snare, which are also just both quite high frequency. You couldn't quite hear them as nice as you would have wanted. So the mix, it lacked a little bit of presence. It lacked a little bit of oomph. And I've said this to Dakota before, where it would be nice to just hear that kind of rumbly bass a little bit more, and that was lost in some of the songs. I'm not going to go and actually play the single version of Gluttony and then play the album version, because I'm not even sure if that was actually the track, but it just everything. It sounded like the guitar had been turned up a lot. And again, if I'm talking complete bullshit here, feel free to call me out. But regardless of the comparisons between the single and the album version of the singles, it would have been nice to hear a little bit more snare, a little bit less guitar, and a little bit more bass. But that's me really trying to find something, like really trying to find something to pick at. But in terms of the actual structure of the songs, in terms of the writing, in terms of the pacing, in terms of the originality, trying out different things, all the songs being different, catchy, heavy, lacerating, all those kind of buzzwords, an absolute triumph of an album. Really fucking good. But yeah, but I stand by it. With respect, if the guitar could just come down to here, and the bass and the snare could maybe just come up there a little bit. I don't know if it's a case of needing to be pulled forward, pulled back, trying a different plug-in, trying a different like playing style, turning it up, turning it down. I'm not a mixing guy, but I can only talk about like what I was actually hearing. If the album had a little bit more depth, a little bit more grit to it, it would have just hit that bit harder. But other than that, I can't fault that. I really can't fault that. It was interesting. It was cool. It was seriously vibey. Loved the rain sound effects. Loved the torch burning sound effects. Loved the little subtle. I could have sworn there was something breaking in the background. Loved the different effects on Dylan's vocals. Loved it. Absolutely loved it from start to finish. That was an absolute pleasure. Good Lord, we've been going for an hour and 21 minutes. Holy shit! I had a feeling this was going to be a long one, because I don't know what I'm doing in my hand here as well. Just had a feeling this was going to be. I don't know what's going on here. So, Belvebuth, Essence of Evil. As per usual, links to the album, of course, will be down below. You will also find links. I should really be speaking into this thing here, yeah. You will also find links to merch. Go support the band by buying the merch. That's the best. I found this out recently, by the way. Pretty much, fundamentally, the best thing that you can do to support a band is buy lots of their t-shirts. I got sent this. Might see if I can get my wife to possibly order me some of their new ones. They've got these new white t-shirts out, which look absolutely fucking just sick. Go buy some merchandise. Stream the album. And if you have the ability as well to stream it on like Amazon Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, just do all of it. If you really like the album, don't just listen to it on Spotify, listen to it on lots of different platforms just to bring their numbers up. Because if you bring bands' numbers up, then promoters are going to be like, right, shit, those guys are really like, they've got some good numbers there. Let's promote them. You'll also find links to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm not actually sure if they've got a TikTok, but if they do, I'll link it below. Just do whatever you can to support these guys, because they've clearly worked really hard on this album. You don't make an album like that by accident, by just being formulaic. They're great guys. I'm going to have to get my ass over to America sometime. Go hang out, fucking smoke a joint, smoke a blunt, hit a bong, fucking throw down in the pit while these guys play live, fucking give them all a hug. But I'm gonna have to get my ass organized, get my old ass over to America at some point to meet these guys. Yeah, just do whatever you can to support, because I really do think that what we heard on the last track might actually be the kind of next step for Belvebuth. They might slow it down a little bit whilst still keeping their kind of signature heavy, chaotic, lacerating sound. Yeah, great work, boys. Really fucking good work. One more time, Belvebuth, Essence of Evil. Fantastic work. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me through an almost hour and a half reaction video. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Take it easy. Love you all very much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.